Happy halftime, everybody. Welcome to the show. And this show is sponsored by Basham Construction. And today we're going to talk about halftime, and I want to talk about core values too. It's a good time to kind of reflect. And, after every sport, after halftime, it starts the third quarter. It's when in my opinion, that's when the game's won, is the third quarter. But it's interesting that, the 4th of July is a couple days, 2-3 days away. Everybody wants to unwind, unpack, and relax, which we all should. But I look at it a little bit differently. I look at the year in quarters. If you've listened to any past podcasts, I think of life and my businesses and stuff like that. I kind of lean towards that football mentality. I just had Bo Ryan on, and if you can't tell, we kind of eat, breathe, and sleep that mindset stuff. But it's interesting. A lot of things have happened. The first half of the year has been a very, very busy first half of the year. A lot to be thankful for. A lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles that everybody faces, not just us. Everybody faces it. But it helps me to look at the year in terms of like a football game, or if you're into basketball, you'd have to dice it up a little differently. But football's got 4 quarters, so it's easy for me. I went to a single A high school, and I'll leave it at that. Today starts of the beginning of the third quarter, which is very, very symbolic to me. It's my favorite time of year. Most people, they like to take this week off, which is good. And taking time off is good. It's a good thing to do. For me to keep sharp and keep the iron sharp, so to speak, I kind of cannot do that. I have to stay in the zone, stay plugged in. This is a huge time for me, a huge exciting time for me, because I'm very convinced that all games are won in the third quarter. But I do want to touch on core values. We haven't talked about this in quite some time. I posted this on our Basham Construction page probably 2 or 3 years ago. So it's probably time that we revisit it, go through them, and explain what they mean to me and why I lean on them to make decisions. I make decisions on business, life, who I hire, fire, who I bring on the team, who I keep on the team, things like that. Even customers, not every customer is a good fit for every organization. So I lean on these core values. I post them. I talk about them a lot. We will be talking about them more throughout the rest of this year. But, we'll just go through them. I've got 9 core values, and I'll just rattle them all off. Going the extra mile, do the right thing, be selfless, keep things in perspective, take initiative, stay humble, lead by example, be a great teammate, and my favorite, be grateful. I think that's 10. 9. Anyway, single A high school coming at you. So I want to go through each one of these one by one, and I'm not going to take an hour to do this, so I'll go kind of quick. But core values was really introduced to me about 10 years ago. I've heard a lot about it, with other organizations, and until you take it seriously, it's just white noise, to be quite honest with you. If you're not bought in, if you're not trying to grow and be a leader, and if you're not trying to help others, core values don't mean a thing to you. If you are trying to be a leader, if you are trying to level up, if you are trying to make others around you better, everybody ought to have core values. Every business, everybody you hire, my first question, first of many, would be, what are your core values? If you have somebody coming into your home that wants to tear up your home and put it back together and they have 0 core values, I'd question, what are your intentions? Are you just here to make a quick buck, or are you here for the long haul? Core values are not just words. They're a pulse of what we live by, who we are, where we're going. If you listen to past podcasts, you'll kind of put some things together on your own. But let's talk about going the extra mile. Going the extra mile to me means, man, it's Friday. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock. I just got a phone call from a customer that needs X, Y, and Z done before the weekend. I'm just going to shut up. I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to go do it to make a customer happy, and I'm going to do it sight unseen. I'm just going to do it, right? I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. That is going the extra mile. Going the extra mile doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be, but a lot of little things are going the extra mile. Like, hey, checking in with a teammate. Hey, I'm going to be driving through Bloomington, whatever. Is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything I can help your day? Drop something off, pick something up, check in on somebody for you. Those are examples of going the extra mile. That is something that's done without being asked, and that's also something that's done without any attention. Any like, hey, I did this, like a sticker chart, if you will. Going the extra mile is silent, and that's how I look at that one. Doing the right thing is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to keep this tighter to like construction because it's pretty fresh to me. But doing the right thing is literally that. In this day and age, when I was younger, I was taught. I'm 47, so I've got some age to me. But I was told the customer is always right. When I was from 5 years old till not too long ago. That is not always the case. There's people that will take advantage of you, and doing the right thing sometimes could be doing the right thing for your organization. It could mean I'm not going to take this job because this person is out to just take advantage of people, or doing the right thing is also like, hey, I noticed you did go the extra mile, and I want to reward you because you do that without anything. You don't have any expectations with it. So doing the right thing is, rewarding people for, going the extra mile and sticking to their core values. One of my favorite ones is being selfless. It's probably in the last 2 months, that's probably the one I've been leaning on the most. We've got a lot of projects going on right now, and we've got a lot of moving parts and pieces and people and products and whatnot. But, you can get wrapped up in yourself real quick if you're not careful. I had somebody say something to another customer. It's like, man, that guy's getting too big for his britches. Well, I think a lot of people think more of themselves, and they should be thinking less of themselves and being selfless. A lot of times people want the accolades. They want all the good stuff, right? But being selfless really lets everybody around you shine. If you can figure out that piece, let me know, because that's a hard one to coach and teach, and it's not hard to learn, because if you eat a lot of humble pie like I do, you'll become selfless real quick. But another one is keeping things in perspective. For a lot of things, a lot of times problems become huge problems with people, and really they're not that big of a deal if you keep things in perspective. For example, if you have, something go wrong on a job, or your whole week turns upside down, it doesn't mean your life is over. It just means you had a rough week, right? Or you had a rough day, or you had a rough job. They're not all going to be rough. So if you can keep things in perspective and understand, hey, this is not a forever feeling. This is more of a temporary learning feeling, if you will. So when things go wrong, I always say to you, you guys have heard me say this a million times, things happen for you, not to you. That is what I'm getting at. Keep things in perspective. These are all things that you can learn from. These are not things that are attacking you or, gonna screw things up for you. So you got to keep things in perspective, keep it real. Like for us, we're in construction. We expect things to go wrong. We do a lot of remodeling. When we open up walls and floor, we don't even know what we're going to find. So you got to keep things in perspective, understand where you're at, and don't freak out. So another one is take initiative. I'm very thankful because I've got a lot of awesome people that work with me, not for me, that do take initiative. Like Carrie takes initiative of a lot of things that I don't even have to ask her to do. Like Jose does a lot of things. I've walked on sites where he's had projects completed, and I did not even know he started them. Same with like Victor tiling. The people just take the initiative to get stuff done. They know our quality needs to be as high as possible, and then happy customers, all that. So our team is loaded with people that take initiative, and that is a huge hiring quality that I find in people. Another one is stay humble. This one is very, very, very important because in construction and business and life, you have your highs and you have your lows. There's years, months, days, whatever, where you're just kicking butt, right? Nothing can go wrong, right? A lot of people will take that and be like, man, I'm like the next, whatever, next best thing. Well, life could kick you in the ass pretty quick. And I've seen it happen. I've felt it happen. So humility is probably the biggest thing with us because we never want to get too high. We never want to get too low. Alan actually has probably one of the best analogies, and go back and listen to his podcast for that one. But staying humble is the biggest thing. There's nothing more humbling than getting your ass kicked. And I shared that with Bo Ryan. That is, believe it or not, that's some good stuff that can happen to you. So always stay humble. Always know where you came from. And I'll get to the last one, which is being grateful, but we got a couple more. Leading by example is a big one. When I hire people, I ask them, what is you're going to have to be a leader in this business. You'll have to lead people. You have to manage people, which means you'll have to do the things that you're expecting everybody else to do. So when I tell customers, when I do this job, I don't take on any job that I can't physically do myself, right? I don't do all the self-performing work anymore. I have guys that do that, and I'm out, keeping jobs ahead of everybody and managing and whatnot. But I feel like as a leader, this is probably the one that I show the most is leading by example. I will go on the 6 a.m. calls. I will do Saturday appointments. I've got all the evening appointments. Believe it or not, all these kitchen appointments are not at 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. So I can't expect my people to go out and do, Saturday stuff, evening work, early morning stuff, all the hard stuff if I'm not doing it myself, right? You can ask my team, you'll never catch me on a golf course. You'll never catch me in the bar. You'll never catch me goofing off. I'm working all the time because I have goals, man. I have visions and places I want to be, and I cannot do that from sitting on the couch, right? So I have to lead by example. I'm raising a young man, Bo Ryan, that I expect great things out of him. I'm raising a wonderful woman, Brooklyn Basham, that I expect great things from her. So I have to lead by example. I don't have a choice. It's a zero compromise with me. So I expect them, when they get older into the workplace, to be doing the same thing. So 2 more to go. Hope you guys are still awake. Being a great teammate is a huge one with me. I've had a couple projects that I've hired some people, and that is a huge indicator with me. The vibe of our company, our organizations, you have to have awesome teammates. Can you imagine fighting a battle with a selfish individual or someone that's just in it for themselves? You have to have unity. I talked to Bo 1 or 2 podcasts ago about culture on the football team, and he's starting to understand what that means and what that looks like. That is the same thing with any business organization is your culture, your core values, and all those things are so, so important. If you don't have those two, you will not have a business long term. I'm very, very convinced of that. But it's the culture piece. I mean, all these tie in together, believe it or not. But you cannot have one. If you allow one teammate to just go rogue and be selfish and do their own thing, what you're telling the other teammates as a leader is it's okay to do that. And it's absolutely not. I hire and fire off of these core values. Matter of fact, the people that I've let go, I encourage them to read through them and learn from it, because your next opportunity, and you'll get one, I hope you correct it. I hope you can correct those behaviors, because those are the things that are not only crushing your goals, it's crushing everybody's goals. So you have to look at this as a team. You got to get bigger than yourself, and that's my advice anyway. But the last one is my favorite. That's why it's the last one, is be grateful. We do live in the greatest country in the world. There's a lot of opportunity. Whenever I go on vacation, which isn't very often anymore, I always come back. I a little pissed off because I spent some money. I've shared this story before, but I always come back like excited, like almost can't wait to get out of the truck and go get to work excited because of the opportunity that we do have. We have a ton of opportunity. There is no reason to be broke. It is tough out there. I'm not saying it's not, but it's up to you to make that happen. There's so many opportunities out there. It's endless. And I'm very, very grateful that we have that. Gratitude is huge to me. I think about it every day. I'm not going to tell you my morning routine, but that's part of it. But I'm so damn grateful that I do have the opportunities that we have. Things get slow. Things get super busy. I'm grateful for both of them. But I got to keep all that stuff in perspective, that there's always highs and lows to business. There's always highs and lows to, relationships or what have you. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, man, I'm just thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be a part of this, whatever you are, organization, friend group. I'm thankful for the friends that I have. I don't have a million friends, and that's by design. I have about 5 or 6 damn good friends, and I'm super grateful for every single one of them. The ones that'll listen, they know who they are. So yeah, gratitude's huge to me. And we're walking into, the 4th of July, Independence Day. And I think this is a great time to talk about this, core values, and just go through them again. I would encourage everybody to come up with your own core values. A lot of them are going to sound the same, though. Going the extra mile, whether you believe it or not, was invented 100 years ago. All these that I've named out, these are not my own words. These are things I've pulled from other people's core values. They're just things I believe in. So if anybody's telling you they invented core values, they're smoking crack, because it's been around for a million years. We're just putting it on paper. But I would encourage everybody to have their own core values, even your personal core values. What you stand for, what you're going to put up with. It just tells people what they can and cannot get away with, really. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great 4th of July. I hope this helps people and maybe encourages you guys to put some core values, but post them on your pages. Talk about it. Customers would love to hear what your stances are in business life. It helps them get to know you, who you are, and what you stand for. Aaron Tippin had the best song, "You got to stand for something or you'll fall for everything." So
with your core values, when you originally created these, do you think, it may be hard to remember back when you were making them, but do you think you originally made them so that like your customers would see this is what Basham Construction is all about? Or did you make them more for yourself to be like, I need to like hold myself accountable to this stuff? Because I think my wife and I have been talking a lot about this, about like making core values for our family.
Yeah.
Because
we have that.
Yeah. And I think I've heard you talk about that before. And like, to me, we've been talking about where it's like, we should make these so that as we're raising our kids, like they kind of have something to fall back on. Like, this is what it means to be a part of this family. This is what I'm about, But at the same time, when you make that and you're teaching your kids you have to hold yourself accountable to that too, because they could call you out and be like, well, that's, so it's a good thing for yourself too. But like, when you approached this process for your business, how do you think you were approaching it originally? And has it changed now that you've
I do want to add a couple, but I'm going to leave it as it is. But this started when I really first started. And I started listening to Andy Frisella of the Real AF podcast, which I'd encourage everybody that's actually wanting to be an entrepreneur to listen to that podcast. It's the best. But he is the one that hammered the value of core values. And I just listened and applied, right? So I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense. And this was for me to hold me accountable. And in order to hold myself accountable, I need this to be posted, and I need our customers to see this is how we make our decisions. This is the pulse of who we are. Every decision we make, we kind of go through these core values. Like, are you hammering on all of these? If you're not, you need to realign and get it together, so to speak. But this was really for us. And then in twofold, I wanted our customers to see how serious we take it. Very seriously. We talk about it and we live it, and that's how we make all of our decisions. To me, it's very simple once you nail them down, because you don't have to really think much. You just go back and, am I being humble? If you're not, then you know what you need to do. Get your shit together. Am I doing the right thing? Am I going the extra mile? Am I being a great teammate? Am I not being selfish? Am I looking out for others, right? It still goes back to the football field on the line. If you have one bad lineman, the whole line can suck, right? So it takes everybody to buy into this, and that's what culture is. It starts with your core values, and then living it and teaching it and coaching others. That's really how I look at it anyway. But this isn't like I didn't invent this. I don't know who the guy is that invented it, but it was hundreds of years ago. But it's super important.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it serves both purposes. It did, if you're a potential customer, it does show like, oh, these guys like they stand for something. Like they,
I think customers want to know who you are. Like they're not. This isn't just super transactional like what you do, Jeff. I mean, they want to know who you are.
Yeah.
They want to get to know you. They know your heart. They know that you're not just out there for a quick, paycheck. We're not either.
Yeah.
Our priority is to have happy customers.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to have core values, and you have to do what you say you're going to do. That's really the key. I tell customers, nobody's perfect. No business out there is perfect. None of us are exempt from problems, from anything. We're all human beings. But if you have the right intentions and you're showing effort, like, hey, we have all this stuff in place in case we do goof up. We're never going to abandon you. And this is who we are. I'm going to hire that person. I'm going to hire that person all day long, And that is I don't even know if you'd call it a secret sauce, but that's who we are. We're never going to just up and leave and we got paid, we're out of here. That's not who we are. I wouldn't put my name on the business, and you wouldn't do that either. So
I honestly think that's a benefit of hiring a local person over a bigger national company or whatever, because you can't hide. You're in this community, you live in this community, you do business in the community. So if you mess somebody over, if you do that enough times, you're going to be out of business.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just got off the phone with a guy on a project we're doing down on the lake, utility company. And every time I call this guy, it's going to take another 2 weeks, for underground locates. It's going to take another 2 weeks to jerk out a couple telephone poles that have nothing on them, right? And I told the guy, it's like, man, I wish I had the luxury of just saying that. We'd be out of business, The small businesses, now this is a huge conglomerate. There's only one in town, right? Only one power company in town, so you're kind of hosed. But I get a little sideways with those guys. It's like, for example, they've been telling me it's the 4th of July for 3 weeks. Oh, well, it's the 4th of July is coming. Well, do you want us to just not work the whole month of July? Dude, we work up to the 4th of July and the day after the 4th of July. It's not that we're just, hammering work out. It's just that's how we're wired. Like it's a holiday, not a month, right? It's a holiday.
Yeah.
So I just think people get too comfortable and they float, and then, I don't know. It's not how I'd like to live, but that's how the bigger companies are. But yeah, you're right. And there's a lot of awesome big companies out there too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that aren't too. But yeah, that's definitely in my opinion, would be a deciding factor. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys have a fun, safe 4th of July, and I'll see you guys next week.